at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed.
ESPN Blacksburg is W226AT Christiansburg, WPIN AM Dublin, and W246CR Christiansburg.
It's the Drive Sports Center at the top of the hour. Yesterday in the NBA, the Pistons fell to the Pelicans 118-103. The 76ers beat the Knicks 108-92. The Nets couldn't hold on against the Clippers 114-101, while the Bulls held on to their win against the Magic 105-101, and the Jazz earned their 10th straight victory 101-99. In Hokie sports news, Taylor Emery scored a career-high 32 points, but it wasn't quite enough, as Virginia withstood a huge Virginia Tech rally and departed with a 64-62 ACC victory over the Hokies Sunday afternoon at Carilion Clinic Court. The loss snapped the Hokies' two-game winning streak, as Tech fell to 16-9 overall. Virginia moved to 16-9. The Hokies return to court Thursday with a game at Wake Forest that tips at 7 p.m. For your ESPN Sports Center, I'm Brian Reed.
It's time now for The Drive.
Alrighty then.
On ESPN Blacksburg, 93.1, 97.1, and live on the web at ESPNBlacksburg.com.
It's The Drive on your local radio station. We are ESPN Blacksburg, and a good Tuesday afternoon to all of you. My name is Paul Van Wagner. Baroy is in the other studio taking your calls at 866-961-1430. 866-961-1430 is the number to call. You can also text us. The number, it's exactly the same, Brian.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. 866-961-1430. Love to hear from you today. Don't forget, if you text Hokies, 866-961-1430, we've got two family 4-packs of tickets to give away to you. One person going to win all 8 tickets. 4 to see the ladies play, 4 to see the men play, both against Clemson, both coming up later on. Actually, well, early next week, I guess. Basically.
That's like a whole week's worth of activities
for
the whole family.
Exactly. And all you have to do is send us a text message that says Hokies. It's so simple, even Drew could do it.
Has he done it yet?
He's
would
not
be
eligible because he interns here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, just like that, you are officially ineligible for prizes.
You don't even follow let's talk about how you're in the office sick, Paul. I'm disappointed.
Somebody's got to be here to do the show. I can't leave you two knotheads in charge of this.
But that is true.
See what happens. You should try it.
No. Let's not and say we did. Brian, I am super excited to start the show today with the 1988 ski ballet Winter Olympic champion, Scott Nason.
Oh, my gosh.
That's right. He won it in 88. In 92 in Albertville, he finished third. He got a bronze medal for that. A little disappointing. He actually retired immediately after that. It's a little known fact about Scott Nason that he was a ski ballet performer. Scott, how are you, man?
Well, I'm doing wonderful, Paul. I'm glad you went back to the archives there. Of course, that whole doping thing after Albertville kind of messed with the rest of my career. So I'm known as the international athlete from America.
Yes, exactly. Yes, you are. That is very true. Unfortunately for you and the Russians, you do not. You are no longer. You are a man without a country at this point, I believe.
Yes, indeed.
So let me ask you this: since we have the Olympic thing going on right now, what is your take on this whole Russia not being part of the Olympics, but yet their athletes being there under the guise of Olympic Athletes of Russia? OAR is what they're calling them.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I think they should be called Russians. I am calling them Russians on my sports show. You go back to when the Russians were called something else. You go back to, speaking of Albertville, 1992, they were called the Unified Team because that was after the fall of the Soviet Empire. You also had the Commonwealth of Independent States back in the day. But that was because of things going on politically in the country and communism disbanding. This whole thing I just think is absolutely ridiculous. Either ban them or don't ban them. Don't kind of ban them and say, well, they're not actually Russians, they're the internet. It's just, to me, it's just a bunch of nonsense.
The ones that I feel the most sorry for are the team sport athletes, because, I mean, you look at, like, for example, I was watching the Russian women in hockey, and, how much actual practice time did they get together as a team because of all of this crap that was going on? I mean, you look at when they got to play against Canada or the U.S. or Sweden or Switzerland or Czechoslovakia. Those are teams that obviously have had a lot of practice time together. But you look at this Russian team, and sometimes they just look a little discombobulated out there, and you have to wonder if that's part of it.
Well, you would think that's part of it, and there's just a few other things that are just kind of weird about this Olympics. Speaking of hockey, the Korean team, the unified Korean team, if there is such a thing, even though there's a demilitarized zone, there's actually a war that has not been ended over in Korea since the 1950s, and you look at the North Korean cheerleaders and some of that, and it's just weird stuff. I'm focusing on the athletes, not the political stuff. But, of course, like every other aspect of life, Paul, politics always seems to run its head into everything.
North Korean cheerleaders? I don't know where you're getting. What site are you Googling that off of, Scott Nason?
Didn't you watch that first Korean hockey game? They were in attendance. Don't look it up.
I saw
it. It's very spooky, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, it's eerie.
Is it real? All right, now I have to go. I feel like maybe, though, it's not something I should Google at work.
It's not inappropriate.
No, it's not at all.
Yeah,
because they've been brainwashed their whole lives.
I'm pretty sure that when the search results come up and the engineering department sees North Korean cheerleaders
with safe search turned off,
right, they're going to be like, wonder what's going on the third floor here at the radio station. I mean, we can only call so much stuff show prep here, Brian, and then at some point we're crossing a line.
Look it up on your own time.
I'm going to do it here in just a minute. Whatever. Okay. I don't care. They're not going to fire me.
I'm already looking it up, too. So.
Drew's checking it out. We'll let him get the viruses. He's got a Mac. We'll be fine. Scott, in the world of tennis, big news coming out of the FedEx Cup. Serena Williams returns to the court. Obviously, from the women's side, this is great for the game of tennis.
Yeah, it really is. She has not been active, obviously, for a year, giving birth to her first child. Very good excuse not to be playing. But, yeah, she's back for the first time in the Fed Cup, which is the equivalent of the Davis Cup, except for the women. That'll be going on in Asheville, North Carolina. They'll take on the Netherlands in a 5-match format. And, yeah, good to see Serena Williams out there. She has 23 majors, and I think she has one, if not a few more, in her this year.
Now, what's next? The French Open? Is that the next big one?
The French would be in May. I don't think she's going to participate in a singles tournament until March.
Okay.
But you look at the French Open, not her best of the four, but I really look at Wimbledon this summer as one where she would be a heavy favorite if she can get some matches in and do well in France.
Now, do you see her, though? You do then see her participating in the French Open in spite of the fact that maybe not the Serena Williams that we're used to seeing out there, just simply because she has been off for so long?
I think so. I mean, she's expected to return at Indian Wells on March 5th. That would give her at least 2 or 3 tournaments before the French Open. She's getting up there in age. I mean, she's not going to play forever. And, if she has a chance to win a Grand Slam, she's going to at least go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely can see that, and I agree. In the world of soccer, lots going on right now, Scott, including games all over Europe and beyond. The Champions League going on right now. I see that Liverpool knocked off my boys from Northampton. I'm a little bummed about that, but somewhere the Rolling Stones are happy.
Well, that would be Southampton, Paul. But you were close. Southampton right now not having a good season in the Premier League. Liverpool is among the teams like Tottenham, who beat Arsenal this weekend 1-0, and Chelsea, who finally got off the schneid after a couple rough weeks. They're all chasing Manchester City, who had no trouble this weekend as they won their match against Leicester City 5-1. And Manchester City right now is playing in the Champions League. They're taking on Basel out of Switzerland, and it's all Manchester City right now. They're already leading 4-0. That game on the road in a best-of-2-leg format, so they're going to easily go through. And I know you're very interested in this other one, Paul. Going on right now, Tottenham Hotspur is at the San Siro taking on Juventus.
Oh,
I know
love
you're a big fan of Juventus. Juve up 2-1 here in that one in the second half.
Big fan of Juventud. I think that ever since he and Chavo broke up, it's not exactly the same soccer club, but I definitely do enjoy a little Juventud soccer.
Yeah, I believe they're trying to make a play for Raven. What about me?
Oh.
What about Raven?
Oh, well, that's definitely one of those things. I believe Gangrel will be helping them out. Now, is
Too
this
much.
when you look at the Champions League? Now, this is. They call this the knockout stage. So this is basically essentially the Sweet 16. Is that right?
Correct. There are 8 matches left, or I should say 8 different matchups, I should say.
Right.
And they play best of 2, and so it's a home and home. And the best total goals will advance to the quarterfinals, which is also a knockout stage. And, right now you have these matches going on. Tomorrow you have Liverpool taking on Porto out of Portugal. And really the best matchup of any of them, Real Madrid taking on Paris Saint-Germain. Mm-hmm. That one will be tomorrow. Then you have the other ones going on, Chelsea against Barcelona, Bayern Munich against Besiktas, Sevilla against Manchester United, and Shakhtar Donetsk. I know you're a big fan of them out of the Ukraine. They're taking on Roma. So you look at England still has 4 teams that are going, but other than Manchester City, a lot of these teams are underdogs, maybe Manchester United being the other one that could get through.
Much more a fan of Shaka Khan myself, personally.
I feel for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. What Olympic sport are you getting most excited for here, Scott? What's coming up that you've got circled that our listeners should be like, you know what? If it's good enough for Scott Nason, it's good enough for me.
Well, I got to say, you're probably hearing my voice is a little hoarse. I'm probably battling a cold like you are, Paul. Yeah. It's from all that yelling, watching curling, and sweet.
Yeah.
You gotta love the curling. I'm all about the curling. Being on the border of Canada, obviously, we are no strangers to curling, but I love it. I love it's much like soccer. It's much like some of the other sports I watch. It's very tactical. It's very contrived in some ways, and I'm all about the curling.
Chloe Kim, the coolest person at the Olympic game this year?
Oh, fantastic. I mean, you talk about bring it, and then she already had the gold clinched, and then she almost got 100. I mean, it was unbelievable. And that's one of the examples of totally living up to the hype and then some, and she's got a big, big future and a lot of endorsements ahead, I might add.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Definitely looking forward to seeing more of her. Scott, you mentioned your show earlier on. Where can our listeners get more quality stuff like this from you?
You can go to the podcast of our sports show, The Game, and you can find that at thegamesportshow.podbean.com.
So, and I need to Google, it's North Korean cheerleaders?
Yes.
Yeah, they sent a delegation over there as many people in the media in this country are fawning over the sister of Kim Jong-un and her great diplomatic skills. They have to remind themselves that she is the sister of one of the ruthless dictators of the world, but I guess that's just details.
This political rant by Scott Nason does not necessarily reflect that of Paul Van Wagner. Okay, hold on just a second. Let me see here. North Korea's, this is riveting stuff. All right, you know what? That is creepy and weird. I'm not even going to click play on that. So, Scott, as always, my man, I appreciate you doing this. Look forward to chatting with you next Monday.
Gentlemen, thank you, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, take care. Scott Nason, appreciate him joining us. Like, what's the deal with the paper faces? What?
I don't know. I saw a GIF of it on Reddit.
Okay.
Yesterday.
Oh, hang on. That's getting really loud. It's a group of, so let me see if I can explain this. There's apparently 230 of them. And they perform during the Korean Olympic, while the Korean Olympians are performing.
Yeah.
Now, at one point, they hold up a paper mask of someone. I'm not sure who that is. And basically they continue to chant.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what? Here's the deal. I say just Google this yourself because I can't do this justice. Wow, okay.
But they look so happy.
Yes. probably because they're out of North Korea. Hey, we've escaped. I don't know where we go from here, but we're not there. So.
Forced to look very happy.
Yes,
I'm
exactly.
Sure.
You will smile, or you will no longer have a head. I don't know if that's how that really works.
I think there are actors that are being paid. That's my suspicion. Because I don't think you can force people to be that happy looking that long.
Well, threaten to kill family and friends.
I mean, I don't know. Look at him. He looks pretty happy most of the time.
Are you saying you forced Brian to be happy?
Well, we do pay him a little bit.
Yeah.
A meager pittance.
Some scraps?
It's a show.
Yeah.
Dress up for the camera, that kind of thing.
Right. Speaking of which, how many of us today paid you your Kit Kat bars?
I believe one person gave me the Kit Kat bar that was owed.
Huh.
I owed you 0, so I'm good. I didn't owe you anything.
You don't?
I won. I beat you in the Royal Rumble thing. We're making a bet about the Cavs winning the East because I'm.
Are you sure you didn't lose a bet at somewhere along the line that you haven't paid up for? I feel like last time you were in here, you were like, I owe Brian a Kit Kat bar, and I keep forgetting to pick it up.
No, that's Darius.
Oh yeah, I think it was Darius. Now that
I am
mentions it.
I am 1-0.
Oh, okay. Well, we need to get DK to pay you, and then also I know Tim Thomas owes one from before.
Right. That must be what it was too.
All right. We're gonna get you paid up. None of this none of this Owen Bryan Kit Kat bars. And then Drew over here on Saturday trying to goat me into a legitimate wager of something. I don't even know what he wanted to wager because
you guys were here on a Saturday.
No. Oh. He's stalking me on Facebook or Twitter. Something. Was it Twitter? Okay, I don't know. It was something weird.
I'm confident enough the Cavs win the East.
Looking at pictures of me from my beach vacation from 3 or 4 years ago. It was creepy and weird. He was liking stuff that was like 6 years old.
What was the bet?
Because
it was for the real marbles, live ammo.
It was the Cavs, whether or not the Cavs would win the East or not get out of the second round, which I still believe.
They win the East. We're going to talk about this later, I'm sure.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it for crying out loud. All right, a quick break. When we come back, we got to talk. Let's see. We got to talk. Ooh. Oh, Drew's not going to know squat about this. We'll talk about it next. It's The Drive.
We live for the sports you love. ESPN.